If coffee's on your brain, there should be only one website you go to, and that's modcup.com. Modcup coffee will be the freshest coffee you probably ever drink. They only sell coffee that has been roasted within 18 days. After that, freshness goes away dramatically. And most of you have been lied to. Most of you have been drinking unfresh, stale coffee, and you're used to a stale taste. But wouldn't you like your coffee to have layers, man? Layers like your wine has layers, like your favorite foods have layers to it, right? Coffee is the exact same thing. There's layers to this shit. There's layers to the tastes and the flavor profiles and all that crap. I don't know it. But what I do know is ModCup has this one coffee. It's the Ethiopia blend that when you make it right, the thing tastes like blueberries. So if you go to ModCup, ModCup.com, type in the coupon code SHOWTHEART, save money on any and all of their coffees. The lightweight division has shaken up big time. I wanted to talk about the trifecta of the lightweight division, and that is the champ Conor McGregor, that is the interim champ Tony Ferguson, and that is the number one freaking contender Khabib Nurmagamedov. This is the Bermuda Triangle, if there ever was one in MMA. Three guys that, man, there are three guys that are some of the best in the whole sport, let alone all being in one division. All three of these guys can be the champion at any point in time. Obviously, two of them are the champion, are two champions. They're sharing the title in that Conor and Tony Ferguson. But, you know, the real question is what happens next? But we don't know what will happen next. So what we could do is speculate on who would win in what fight and what factors would come into play in each matchup. First one, let's talk about Conor McGregor, the champ, versus Tony Ferguson, the interim champ. That is the more likely fight to happen if Conor does decide to come back very soon, where they don't have to strip him of the title. And that's Conor versus Tony Ferguson to unify the belts. Conor McGregor, it's no secret. He's got a powerful cross, powerful rear hand. He's knocked out many of foes in devastating fashion. One touch, and he puts people out. It's obvious. Now, him versus Tony Ferguson is very, very, very interesting because Tony Ferguson has shown to be very dangerous on the feet, but also, I mean, he was a captain of his wrestling team in college. Tony Ferguson is no slouch when it comes to wrestling. And then the third thing about Tony Ferguson that makes him top-notch is that he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. And he's legit. I mean, people say this guy's legit, that guy's legit. What Tony Ferguson is a legit black belt in jiu-jitsu when it is applied to MMA. Okay? I'd never roll with him. I don't know how he would do in a jiu-jitsu tournament. But when it comes to MMA fights, he is top-notch. He's legit as F. I don't want to say the F word because kids might be listening. But the guy's legit. One of the best at jiu-jitsu on the ground. Obviously on the ground. Jiu-jitsu in MMA in our sport. So Tony Ferguson is the best of all three worlds. But what Tony Ferguson really likes to do is beat you up standing. And against Conor McGregor, I feel that might be his downfall. Okay? Tony Ferguson he's very good at wrestling, very good off his back in jiu-jitsu, very good off the top. He's very crafty. He's got a devastating Darce choke. He can choke you. But what Conor has shown, very good hips. He's very elusive with his movement. And it's pretty hard to take him down, honestly. I mean, look at his track record. I mean, it's not easy to take him down. The times that he has lost in MMA have usually been on the ground, but he's no slouch, you know? And he's competed in jiu-jitsu tournaments. He knows how to move his hips. He knows how to wrestle. Obviously not to the effect of Tony, but he can move his body. So I feel that Conor McGregor has enough movement, elusiveness, hips, awareness to defend Tony Ferguson's takedown attempts. And I don't believe that Conor will try to take Tony down. So when we talk about that, and Tony Ferguson, again, one of his downfalls that might happen in a fight, in a matchup against Conor McGregor, is his willingness to fight wherever the fight stays, right? Conor is going to try to keep it standing, and I believe he will keep it standing, especially since Tony is not a physical specimen. He's more of a finesse wrestler, finesse grappler, finesse striker, not a physically dominating specimen. You know what I'm saying? Like Khabib is. So it would be hard to take Conor down. And when it's a stand-up fight, yeah, Tony's crafty. But Conor is sharp. He's accurate. He's powerful. I feel that the way that fight will go is Conor has the advantage in that fight. I give it to Conor. I give it to him by dominating on the feet, and Tony trying to take it to the ground, but Conor having the ability to keep it standing, which is a very important craft to have. So I think that's how that fight goes. Inflammation is one of a fitness person's biggest enemy. Inflammation. It doesn't matter if you worked out really light or really hard. You're going to get inflammation in your joints everywhere, okay? Sometimes we don't even notice it. In fact, most of the time we don't notice it, but a lot of times inflammation is there. And one of the most popular things right now that a lot of people are using is CBD oil. And if you go to vapebright.org, you can get yourself some good CBD oil, 100% organic CBD oil, for a cheap price. And if you use the coupon code SHOWTHEART, you will save big amounts of money. Okay, CBD oil has, just research it, look it up. It has been proven, shown to reduce inflammation. It can help with anxiety, and there will be zero chances of you getting high from it. It's not weed. You're not going to smoke it and get high. There's no psychotropic, whatever you want to call it, effects. It's just one of the elements that's in the marijuana plant, the CBD, cannabidiol, whatever, that helps with your inflammation. So check it out. Go to vapebright.org, type in the coupon code SHOWTHEART, and save some really good money. If you're interested in buying some new gear for the holidays, for a friend, or for yourself, just to stock up, we can't get enough jiu-jitsu gear. We can't get enough gear to sweat in when we're in MMA class or jiu-jitsu class. Go to invertedgear.com. Type in the coupon code SHOWTHEART15 and save yourself 50% on any and all of their gear. That's rash guard, shorts, spats, leggings, all that kind of stuff, gis. Anything you need, they got it when it comes to jiu-jitsu training. Check them out, invertedgear.com, coupon code SHOWTHEART15. Look at the other fights in that division. We have, let's talk about Conor McGregor versus Khabib Nurmagamedov, since we're on Conor so much. And granted, if you know me, I like Conor, but I'm not his biggest fan. If I'm saying Conor's going to win, it's because I truly believe the guy will win, or he has what it takes. You know, I'm not a bandwagon hopper. So Conor versus Khabib is very tricky because, yes, Conor could catch Khabib coming in, right? And he may very well catch Khabib coming in. But I feel Khabib can take enough shots where he will be that specimen that he is. He will be that aggressive takedown artist that he is. And I feel that if he fights Conor, he's going to beat him the way he's been beating everybody else. And that's taking him down, grueling, grinding, keeping them there, and just grounding, pounding them, just dominating from the top, passing guards, throwing strikes. I mean, the way he beat Edson Barboza was a thing of beauty. Whenever we talk about wrestlers grinding their way and holding top position and beating people by wrestling, it always comes out boring. That's what we say, right? Because the person, you never feel like they're trying to make the effort to finish the fight. When you watch Khabib take people down and keep them there, he's trying to finish that fight. He's trying to pass that guard. He's trying to take that back. He's trying to get them out. And the whole time, he's trying to submit you, and he's throwing punches to your face non-stop. Stop. It's exciting, man. He's probably the most exciting wrestler that we see in MMA. And I feel that if he fights Conor, that's how that fight will go. Conor constantly defending the takedown. In fact, worrying about it so much, he'll crack him. He'll get us excited by hitting Khabib once, but I don't believe Khabib will go down. You would have to knock Khabib out cold. Sure, it can happen, but if this fight happens, I believe I give Khabib the edge. I believe Khabib's wrestling to Conor's striking will make a bigger difference the other way around. Conor striking to Khabib's wrestling. You know, it's a bigger gap, and wrestling's devastating. And once somebody has you worried about wrestling, it's a wrap. Hesitation sets in, and it's going to be a long, long freaking night. So I believe that if that fight happens, that's Khabib's hand that's going to get raised. I guess the final fight, and maybe the most likely thing that will happen next, because it doesn't look like Conor's jumping up and down to get a fight anytime soon. And that's Khabib Nurmagamedov versus the interim champ, Tony freaking Ferguson, El Kukui. The way this fight can go, very tricky, very slim margin for error. Now, sure, Khabib can beat anybody, and Khabib may very well beat Tony Ferguson and Conor McGregor and anybody else and friggin' end his career undefeated and dominating fashion. But on paper, if you look at on paper, off paper, variables, things that you can't really calculate, things that you can calculate, everything as a whole, I feel that Tony has what it takes to beat Khabib, and I give him the edge in that fight because he has great wrestling. I mean, and the thing about him is, yeah, he's not a specimen, but he's crafty. I always say, if they're bigger than you, you got to be trickier than them. You have to. You have to have good hips. You have to have good movement. And you have to have sneaky shit, man. You got to have sneaky submissions. You got to have sneaky ways to get the person off of you. And a lot of times, the sneakiest way to get somebody off of you is by throwing submissions on them and them defending the submission, which allows you to get out, right? And that's where Tony Ferguson shines when he's fighting that way, that style of jiu-jitsu. And we've seen he can do that. We've seen that he can put damage on people when he's off his back, striking wise. I mean, his fight against Kevin Lee, I mean, he hurt him in the closed guard. He opened him up. I mean, he did a lot of damage to Kevin Lee from the closed guard bottom. It's very, very, very high level shit. And then in the stand-up, I think that's where the fight ends up the most. I think it's hard for Khabib to take Tony down. And when he does, it's not worth it. I think Tony will reverse him a lot or threaten the sweep, threaten the submission where it creates enough space to stand back up. And I feel he chips Khabib up standing. Of course, if Khabib has his way, he's going to throw bombs. He's going to get you backed up. Once you're close to the cage, he's going to take you down. Now, can he keep Tony down? Can he squash him? Can he glue him to the mat and stop him from attacking? Of course. But I give the edge to Tony Ferguson. I think that Tony takes that match because when it comes to wrestling, he's hanging in there with Khabib. Plus his jiu-jitsu is top notch. And like I said, his jiu-jitsu is the make it or break it for here. That's the X factor because he has a very attacking style of jiu-jitsu, and an attacking style of jiu-jitsu forces the other guy to bail on things, forces space to happen as a defender, as an attacker. And I feel that's where Tony comes into play. So, the Bermuda Triangle of the lightweight division, I guess what I think, if I had to put money on it, it goes like this. Tony beats Khabib. Khabib beats Conor. Conor beats Tony. That's the way my Bermuda Triangle of the lightweight division goes. That's the way I feel is what can happen based on our data. Of course, Conor could beat both guys. Of course, Tony could beat both guys. And of course, Khabib can beat both guys. Now, if you had to force me to pick just one guy to beat both, and I had to put more money on that person, I'm picking Khabib to beat Tony and Conor. more so than Conor beating Khabib and Tony beating Conor and Khabib. That's where I see it. But, I have each guy beating one guy and losing to the other. That's what makes a division very interesting. That's what makes it top-notch and very exciting. So we can't wait to see that division or those fights play out. Thank you, guys. That's it. If you like the podcast, please, like I always say, leave a good review on iTunes, share it, subscribe on iTunes. Again, all these numbers go a long way. It helps us deliver these podcasts to you. And, of course, try out the merchandise that our sponsors sell. Go to invertedgear.com, showtheart15 is the coupon code. Buy one of their rash guards. Buy one of their gis. I love training in their gear, not just because they're a sponsor, but they're very comfortable. Go to modcub.com. Best coffee I've ever had. Best coffee bean. Even if you don't know how to make coffee, just using their beans, them being fresh, and the layers, the flavors you're going to get, even if you're an amateur making coffee, it's well worth it. Use the coupon code SHOWTHEART at modcub.com, and it'll be affordable for you. Trust me. Last but not least, go to vapebright.org, type in the coupon code SHOWTHEART, and save good money on CBD oil.